Welcome back to the Dadrepreneurs Podcast. I was originally thinking that this was going to be a hideout on the back porch of our vacation rental here in Maine, but it seems I have been found. So you may hear some little babies or some little ones in the background recording a clean session for this thing. So honestly feels right for this episode. This is episode number 3, all gas, some brakes, dad speed versus founder speed. We're talking about speed, the speed we used to run at before the kids, the speed our businesses seem to want from us, and the speed our families can actually handle without everyone losing their mind. We get into startup life, scaling businesses, buying Matera, growing free to grow CFO, little kid seasons, travel with toddlers. And the question that keeps coming back once you're a dad and an entrepreneur, why are we trying to go this fast? It's not a conversation about losing ambition. It's about learning when to gas it and when to tap the brakes and how to build something meaningful without outrunning the people before. It's funny, we actually talk a little bit in this episode about vacations and how these days they're less rest and relaxation and more managing little humans in slightly nicer climates. So recording this intro from a back porch in Maine, surrounded by these little knuckleheads, feels pretty on brand. I hope y'all enjoy it. Here's episode 3, all gas, some brakes, dad speed versus founder speed.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Dadrepreneurs.
We're back.
Episode 3. What's up? We made it, man. It's been 2 weeks. How much sleep have you gotten in the last 14 days?
Great question. I probably slept mostly through the night for 85-90%. We're going in a good flow right here in the Craddock household. So,
dude, it's so weird. I mean, this is actually weird to me. Our kids, I don't know about yours, our kids slept so good when they were babies. Like my wife did, I don't know if you guys did sleep training. My wife read the books. She sleep trained our kids, I think week 6 or week 8, whatever it is. And sleeping through the night at like week 10 or 12 or something like that. Such amazing sleepers as babies.
And the sleep training, just so we talk about what it is. It's the one where you just let the kid cry it out, right? Yeah. So we had to do that. Like the first 3 months of this year, we were just screwed because we live our house is open air.
Yeah.
Like it's not,
you're all in the same.
Yeah. We're all in the same
box. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So, what we were worried about with crying it out is, and there's probably a better name for it, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
What we were worried about, and this actually happened all the time, is waking up the other one, waking up the 4-year-old.
That is like
and then it turns into World War III at 2 a.m, And so what we were worried about was that happening. So we just didn't do it. And finally, we were 2 or 3 months in. We were like, this thing,
Band-Aid off.
It's time.
We're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. So we just dealt with it. Like woke up with the 4-year-old, dealt with it for I think it only takes like 3 or 4 days.
No, it's quick.
And it's done. It's just like ripping off a Band-Aid. We should have just done that earlier.
There's a lot of things like that in parenting and in business. Yeah. Damn, I'm going through that right now with someone we had to let go.
Totally.
And I actually we're going all over the place right now, but we'll come back to what we're going to talk about today. But I had a meeting with my leadership team yesterday. And we had this exact moment. Damn, we should have done this a long time ago with someone that we're going to have to let go. And we just got done with a very painful termination a few weeks ago that I called this out the day we hired the dude and we waited a year. We've known this one for several months. And when we saw this thing that we saw that we're like, we have to terminate this person. This is actually a huge issue for the business. I stepped into the conversation, was like, guys, I'm just going to say the next time someone says we think we need to let someone go, I'm going to force us to do it that week because we've all been working our butts off compensating for the fact that we didn't do this soon enough. So that principle, should have done this sooner. Had plenty of those moments.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's just hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
You know, so
so what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about, well, probably going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, just like we always do. But I want to talk about the speed of growing our businesses, the speed of achieving personal goals, the speed of growing our families. And the reason why is because when you start, at least for me, when we started having kids, I had to think about speed and accomplishment and ambition in a completely different light. You know, before we hit record, we were talking about the fact that you at Chubby's and me at Guardian Bikes, we were on a rocket ship, fast growth startup, a bunch of like mostly single people with no kids, just like drinking from a fire hose. There's no question about slowing down. It's like, actually like, hey, who wants to try to figure out how to go faster? As soon as we had kids, I had to really start thinking about the speed, prioritization, and the speed at which I want to accomplish certain things. And so I thought, like, this is a great topic for us to talk about. So I want to actually ask you, going from the Chubby's days, hyper growth, not a lot of personal responsibilities, to like starting to have kids, how has your perspective changed on the speed of growing your business?
I mean, the number one thing where my mind goes first is I was fortunate, in a sense of we didn't start having kids until I was 34 or 35, something like that. And I think about those, like, 10, 15 years before. My little sister had her first kid at 18. My brother, I think it was like 19 or 20, both in South Carolina, doing great, but just kind of in a different lane that I was. And so like, that's one thing that I'm curious your thoughts about is just like the difference in timeline on when you have those kids. Cause that's a play. But yeah, I feel I see that as a benefit for myself and the person that I am, because I was a dumbass whenever I was 20. I was like, I was not.
So was I, man.
I know. I was not.
I was not fit to have children when I was in my mid 20s.
I mean, and you grow up and you figure it out and you do it. But I think where my head goes is I was not, I was just not mature enough. Like I had ambitious, and and whenever I talk about maturity is like, I was just looking out for myself.
Yeah.
Like, and you can't do that as a father
or
a husband. You just can't do it.
I forget to look out for myself now. I'm like, have I looked out for myself this week?
Yeah, exactly right. Month? And so I think that's where my head goes with that, is just the timing. No person's path is the same, but for me, the fact that I had, all those years to kind of like make mistakes and grow up and like just mature a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel pretty fortunate, and it kind of set me up to be a little bit more calm, a little bit more thoughtful with how, I run my household and I like parent and all that.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that. I was 32 when we started having kids. So still, I would say that's like probably, I mean, I don't know the data
later
on this, but that's probably, not the youngest. Maybe that's like middle of the road,
right?
But I will tell you that like I started Free to Grow CFO. I left Guardian and started Free to Grow when I was 30. I'm 39. I'm gonna have to do a little math here. I think I was 34, maybe 35. So we were like a few years into having kids. And I definitely was already personally sensing the desire to slow down a little bit. And like, look, mid 30s, like in my opinion, you're still a young buck, but I grinded really hard in my 20s.
Yeah.
Like really hard. Nights, weekends, didn't even matter the day of the week. honestly. It was just like, I was talking to someone at Guardian on my cell phone when I wasn't at the office pretty regularly. Like random 3-way calls that would happen like 8 p.m. Like, hey, here's what's going on with the supply chain. What do you guys think we should do about this? I mean, that was just, and like now, if I get a call at like, which I don't, but like if I were to get a call at like 8 o'clock p.m. from someone work related,
That
I would just
warehouse
be like,
better be burning down.
bro, I don't got anything left in the tank. You don't even want to talk to me right now.
Yeah.
You think you want to talk to me, but you don't. So, but like, point being, I was already slowing down. When my journey was actually kind of unexpected with the speed thing, because what I started Free to Grow CFO in large part to slow down.
Same.
I had, let's see, it was 2022. My daughter was, so I had a 2-year-old and a newborn. And then a few months later, my wife got pregnant with so I had a 2-year-old and I had a 9-month-old, and Andrew was pregnant.
Jesus. Dude.
Yeah. I started the business to slow down, but then I really quickly started to realize that I actually hate being a freelancer. I hate it. And not because like I don't like being a fractional CFO. I was born to build businesses. Like at Guardian, I was the COO and CFO. I had a huge hand in building us from 3 people to 35 people. And like all the organizational design that goes into that. What are the seats we need? What's the right characteristics of the right person to hire and place in that seat? What are their priorities? What are the processes and the communication rhythms? I'm built like that. And you don't get to really do that when you're a freelancer, solopreneur, right? And so I noticed pretty quickly that I hated being a solopreneur. And so I was like, I've got to scale. And it wasn't like I got to scale to take over the world. It's like, I have to scale to a certain size to have a team even big enough to leverage those skills. And so it was kind of a catch-22 because I had to speed up. And as I was speeding up, my third was born. And so we had a 3.5-year-old, a 1.5-year-old, and a newborn. In my small 1,500 square foot 3-bedroom house, I had to move my office from the second bedroom or the third bedroom to my bedroom. And so I've got my desk and my music studio in our bedroom. And my wife is like, we have got to get the hell out of this house. Yeah. We're buying a bigger house. It's in the middle of COVID, so there's no houses for sale. So it was just madness,
there
right?
There were houses for sale, but you would just need to pay $3 million.
Yeah, for something that's not worth that today.
Yeah.
But like, so I'm like speeding up while the third kid is being born. It was madness. We're like, what the hell have we gotten ourselves into? 3 is way harder than 2. And by the way, we did it intentionally. We wanted to have the baby as soon as possible because we wanted to stay in the phase of raising babies. We didn't want it to get too far away from us and then have our third. And so I actually found myself for like probably a year to a year and a half after our youngest was born, where I'm intentionally speeding the business up and intentionally speeding up growing our family, accidentally not realizing how insane that was going to be. But in the middle of it going like, I can't turn back. I have to push through until this business is big enough that I can delegate responsibility and sit in the seat where I'm uniquely gifted to then be able to slow back down. And that was a gnarly 18 months, man. Yeah. I still am a little bit at times like tired from that season. That season ended about 18 months ago, but it was intense. So like, what about you? Like when you started La Matera, what were you thinking about? Like, here's the speed I'm going to build, and what ended up actually happening relative to what you had planned?
Very similar. We bought La Matera. So La Matera was a business that was around for 12 years, something like that, before we got it. And coming out of the companies that I was at, like Chubby's and Tuckernuck and Marine Layer, all these places doing, you know, well north of hundreds of millions of dollars. It was just in my brain that like, that's what like we got to do. We got to scale this thing and like take it to the moon. I get in with that thought and thinking a similar thing. But then I quickly realized that because we bought the business with an SBA loan, the business had bills to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Like it
debt
wasn't,
service to pay.
yeah. And so we couldn't. So I came in and was like, all right, take all the money, put it in there. Let's grow it to the moon. Let's be super risky. Let's go. And after doing that for probably a year or two, a year and a half, we did really well in 2024, but we certainly were burnt out. We were spending all money on growth of like marketing. It wasn't like we were bringing new people in and all this kind of stuff. It was just like grow the business. And that's whenever our second started coming around. And we just got to this point with the entire business and everything. It was like, we don't necessarily need, like, what are we doing this for?
Yeah.
You know? And
that's the question.
I had to sit down and like actively think about that. I was like, why am I not paying myself? Or why am I,
for sure,
like, what are we doing this for?
Totally.
And so that my 2025 was, I call it my like readjustment year of really understanding, all right, what are we doing this for?
Mm-hmm.
What do I like doing? What do I not like doing? And kind of shifted, you know, my mentality in business to, all right, what I really like doing is I like being with my girls. Business is fun and growing and all that kind of good stuff. But what I really, really like doing was just focusing on my family. And that is kind of the shift that I made in 2025. And so my thought for 2025 growth for Matera in particular is I was just fine with break even to maybe 5% year over year growth. I was like, this is great. Like it's able to pay us a little bit, but more importantly, I just have an uber amount of freedom.
Yeah.
My calendar would probably make you super mad. Like honestly. And that was perfect for, you know, getting Elsie up to 1-ish years old. Now I would say I'm like, I'm getting more sleep. Like I said, I'm like 85% fully rested this week. And so now my ambition is kind of starting to crank up. So I think for me personally, it kind of comes in waves. It's just like, I want to take some time and now I just want to go.
Yeah.
But in the Chubby's days, it was like, go.
But it's funny. So there's a couple of things you said that I think are interesting that I can relate to. One is when you bought Matera, just like I did start free to grow to slow down, but I still had in me, just like you had in you from Chubby's, this blitz scaling, like that's the way. Right. And so I was wrestling with that constantly. I still wrestle with it to this day because I can see the path. I can actually see the path very clearly, how to double the business again. And but then I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that or not. And again, actually, more importantly, why?
Yeah.
And so that's an interesting thing I can relate on. And the other thing is like Ryan Rouse, who's another Texas Hill Country Ecom Mafia guy who we're going to get on the show for sure. He's like 8 years older than I am, 3 kids, and his kids are about 5 to 6 years older than mine. So like, I really look up to him to like, hey dude, you're 8 years ahead of me. Like what should I be thinking about right now? And I sat down with him when I first decided to go from solopreneur to like, I'm going to scale this into a business that's bigger than me. And I asked him, I was like, dude, what do you think about that? And he had something really interesting to say that I would not have thought of. As kind of counterintuitive, but it makes sense. He's like, listen, dude, your kids are really little. Now is actually the time that you should be grinding, because as they get older, they're going to demand more time from you. So right now, like they don't need as much from you, right? But you're going to want to, as they kind of, and I'm starting to approach this point now with my oldest who's 7, like that kind of like, we'll call a grade school kid, definitely different than the preschool and like kind of toddler years. in terms of like wanting to really be there and establish like a more mature relationship with your kids and guide them as a father, right? It's like, that's when you want to be around more. And then they're going to get over you.
Oh yeah.
And then you can start grinding again. So he's actually in the season where his kids are starting to get over him and he's finally starting to grind again. So in terms of it coming in waves, I really feel like it does come in waves. Like your kids don't need you, the dad, as much when they're little.
Right.
It's a lot of mom. And then they start needing dad more. And then they kind of like want independence from mom and dad.
Yep.
You know, and so I'm actually starting to sense right now how to kind of level off a little bit with my ambition because my kids are getting into grade school and they're starting to really need me a lot more.
Interesting. Yeah. I like that.
So another thing I want to ask you about is let's go outside of the business realm and let's talk about like other personal ambitions you and your wife have. Like we've really been challenged in this season that we're in with like, we can only accomplish so much. Actually, when the kids were really little, like when they were babies, we did all kinds of stuff, painting our house, doing work on our house ourselves. We traveled a bunch. And then we got to like toddler stage and we're like, we can't do any of that because this is pure insanity. I will gladly outsource all of that stuff. And we're not traveling basically anywhere.
Yeah.
And now we're easing back into the season of like, hey, we can definitely travel more. Everyone's potty trained. And we're starting to get a little more ambitious about thinking about what other kind of personal kind of bucket list goals we go after. But what about you guys?
Very similar. Whenever our first was born, this is just a hot tip for any new dads who's only got one, is that first, 6 to 9 months, you just do as much as possible.
No, I was about to say breweries,
anything.
Cruises.
We went anything.
Yeah.
Everything. So we went, we randomly had 2 friends get married in Austria 4.5 months after Millie was born. So 2 friends got married in Austria, and then 3 weekends later, 3 weekends later, we had 2 friends get married in Ireland. And so we were like, all right, we're just going to hunker down for 3 weeks, kid in tow, and do a European, Euro trip. And Austria, Switzerland, Amsterdam, we spent a bunch of time. Then we went to Ireland and road tripped around the entire island of Ireland. And the baby was just a killer. She just chilled.
So easy.
It was great. It was
our first when she was up until 9 months.
Yeah, that's the sweet spot.
We did everything.
Do everything.
We went on all kinds of trips and then
to dinner, let the thing sleep. Just do it.
It's when they start wanting to. It's when they stand, not walk. Walking is an issue. Yeah, but when they
walking is whenever
when they figure out they
can
pull themselves up.
Yeah,
right. They don't want to stay in that care, and they don't want to be held anymore.
Yeah, they want to be
no, I know I can stand.
Yeah,
right. And it's funny you mentioned the no flights. So we had a trip scheduled, booked Disney World during Christmas time when my youngest he would have been 14 months or something like that. And we booked the trip in the summer. We were going to go Christmas time. All of a sudden, a week before the trip, he starts walking. And my wife's like, we got to cancel the trip. And I was like, yeah, I actually think we do. Let me check to see if we can get our money back. And we were able to get, it was like a $7,000, with everything, flights and the rooms and
that was
everything.
Such a smart move.
And we got $250. It was only $250 cancellation fee, and that was it. And there's just no way that child was it was literally a few days before a flight. He pulled himself up, started walking, and he's like, "Don't you dare touch me!" Don't you dare touch me. And it's one thing to go on a flight to Florida. That would be kind of crappy, but we could pull it off.
Yeah.
But spending 4 days at an amusement park with a baby who doesn't want to be touched. Nah, dog.
Yeah.
Ain't doing it.
I think that's my hot take. My wife gets annoyed with me, but I I just don't think in the phase that we're in right now, I don't think vacations are vacations. It's just mostly because we have this good support system here at home where the kids go to like daycare or school and they have this like coverage. And we honestly, like when we go to work and do all that, it's like kind of a break.
Yeah,
And
dude,
it's
100%.
like we're able to get into a different lane. Whenever we're at vacation, we are the caretakers.
Yeah.
And so for me, vacation, it's just vacation is not vacation right now. We were in
that. How old's your youngest?
One, just
okay. Yeah. Makes perfect sense because our vacations started being vacations last year.
How old's your
my
youngest?
youngest turned 2.5.
Okay. Yeah.
And he was potty trained. That was, and we went down to Port Aransas to the beach, and it was the best trip we've had in forever. And but I will tell you this: we're still scarred. We don't just travel all over the place. We've gone back to that same place at the beach 6 times since then because it's working.
Don't reinvent it.
It's working.
Don't reinvent it.
They have pools, restaurants, golf carts, and a beach. And it works. Everyone thinks we're nuts. We're going there on Sunday. I've been there this year already, February, March, May, June, and we went for We'll probably go for Thanksgiving. We're gonna go 5 times, but it's a 3.5-hour drive.
Yeah,
it works, and it actually feels like vacation. So it's like we're actually coming off of what the season that you guys are in, and there's so much pent up demand internally in our family for a vacation that worked. And we're like, we're just going to hammer this home till it stops working.
Totally.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, Bobby and I, we would travel all the time. We have been everywhere, all over the place. And even with Millie, until she was that 9 months to a year, I think she flew on, I did the math. I think she flew on like 38 flights before her first birthday. Like
that is the time to do it. I'm telling you.
But Bob is still in that, like, she's still in that zone where she's like, yeah, we can take the kids on a weekend trip to Mexico. And I was like, no,
I would never
fly
take my
my
kids
mom
to Mexico.
here.
Yeah. And we will go to Mexico.
And we will go to Mexico.
That's what I did last year. Yeah.
Why don't we do that?
What happens when your kid drinks the water?
All
3 of my kids will drink the water. My oldest is 7. They won't believe me.
Yeah.
They won't believe me until they believe me.
Yeah.
And then we don't want to be there. No, I have a friend. They have a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 6-year-old, took all 3 kids to Cozumel. And I was like, you are insane.
It seems awesome for sure. And I do want my kids to be well traveled.
It seems awesome.
But I do not think that any kind of trip, international trip like that, Mexico is like 2-hour flight. So like you're not convincing me that they're getting this worldly view on a 2-hour flight down to Mexico.
Yeah.
But 2, I just don't see
the incremental utility
relative
to the cost
and
the potential risk of
and the
diarrhea.
Yeah.
That's the way I think about it. I don't know.
It's like I think once they hit that, I don't know, 4 or 5, then I'm down. Let's go. Let's go.
It changes. It totally changes. Like I'll tell you right now, my son. So I have a 7-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old son, 3-year-old son. My 5-year-old son, he was really freaking hard until he was like 3, and now like I play catch with him in the backyard, baseball and football. I can take him fishing. I can take him on my boat, just the 2 of us.
That's cool.
And he's semi-helpful.
Yeah.
But if I'm like, hey, you're not going to be helpful on this, just stand there, he mostly listens.
Yeah.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
But when he was 3 and younger, it's like, hey, don't touch that. That's the first thing he's going to do. Watch this. Yeah, whatever, dude. But no, it's funny how those things change. I'm curious, like, because you're not in the season of traveling, what is your family's form of whatever, getting away or unplugging or whatever that looks like for you guys?
Yeah, our big thing now, we still travel, but we travel for long periods of time. So in a couple weeks, we're headed to Maine for 3.5 weeks. And so it's the thing where we can take all of our life
Yeah.
and basically just take it there
Yeah.
and take it into a cool new spot. So typically over the last 3 years, we've gone to Sausalito because we love Sausalito. And then this year we're switching it up a bit and going to the East Coast and doing Maine for 3 weeks. So that's our big trip and our big kind of breakup. Then we still travel. We get over to Tahoe and we get over, like we go to visit family in South Carolina or family in California. So we still do it. We grin and bear it, but it's nothing. It's no international trips we were doing. It's no big, like, spontaneous things.
For sure.
Mostly it's just spread out and longer where we can kind of make a camp and just hang out and embrace it.
Yeah, for sure. The longer stretch in my mind makes sense too, because like if you choose the right place to stay, right? That's maybe like a whole episode. Like, how do you choose the dwelling you stay in when you're traveling, depending on the age of your kids? But choose the right place to stay. If you stay for several weeks, they can kind of get reacclimated as if it's their temporary home. When you're kind of going like a European vacation where like you're on trains, like you're trying to go sightseeing. Oh my gosh. So what happens when they gotta pee, they gotta poop, they throw up, they're hungry? Like,
and there are people who do it.
Yeah.
Like, and props to them. I just
that ain't me.
It just ain't me.
That ain't me. That ain't me. Well, the other thing that I think is interesting, you've now been running Matera for a few years. You've got a couple kids. You've got a decent sense of what is smart and what is not smart to do with your family in this season. As things continue to evolve, where do you think you're taking the business and your family over the next few years? Do you think about that much, or do you just kind of like go for it as it kind of happens?
I am much more shoot from the hip. Candidly, because I didn't know I was going to be in San Francisco for 10 years. I'm from a small town in South Carolina. Like, what is that dude doing in San Francisco? And then I didn't know. Then Austin. Then I just have no idea what 3 years from now looks like.
Yeah.
Is like there's a path that I see us being here in the Hill Country for the rest of forever. At least have this house forever and pop around. But then there's also a path where I say, all right, I'm gonna go, I don't know, buy another company and go to whatever, and do it. And so I'm a kind of little bit more, I don't know, laissez-faire, shoot from the hip from that perspective. But Matera is I think I've gotten to a good spot with Matera of it being my ideal would be Matera is my creative, fun, just like vibey outlet where I can do cool things, make beautiful things, make well crafted things, work well with folks all over the place, and have like access to a bunch of different people in Argentina and our factories all over the country. And so that from my perspective is fun. What I would like to do is find a route that I don't have to put my dependency on Matera. And that's an interesting kind of problem that I'm formulating right now and just trying to figure out, all right, what does that look like and how can I make that happen exactly?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the answer is.
Being an entrepreneur is a crazy, crazy thing, man. I don't think we ever really know what the answers are. It's interesting because my perspective was really changed when it comes to being a creative entrepreneur by reading the book Think and Grow Rich. I think I mentioned that maybe on one of the last episodes we did. And the reason why it was so profound to me, probably mentioned it on many more episodes. I talk about this on my other podcast too, because it's a profound idea. That book is all about the study of what makes someone, what differentiates successful people from unsuccessful or average people in terms of accomplishment and wealth building. And the one thing the guy could find is action, taking action. And so it wasn't that exactly what the plan should be.
Yeah.
There is a plan, but it's a rough plan. He even talks in the book about how it's a rough plan. And actually entrepreneurs are willing to like evolve the plan very quickly, sometimes too quickly. But that's how we figure things out, because so many people who are not trying to follow the creative entrepreneur path are so rigid that they're too afraid to veer off course and see what's there, see what's behind the curtain, see what's around the corner.
I love off course.
Yeah, so do I. And
I thrive in off course.
I'm kind of a weird hybrid, so I've been told. Like, I mean, I brought my planner with me. I have a planner.
Yeah.
I bring it everywhere because it's got everything that I need to consider for the day.
That's the finance accountant in you.
I have a life plan.
Yeah.
I have a 2-page life plan. My wife has a life plan. We set annual goals as a family and quarterly goals.
Man, my wife would love that if I was that type of person.
But I'm also the one, we're going tomorrow out to Marble Falls, Horseshoe Bay to look at lake houses.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, why the hell are we going to look at a lake house? I've got all these reasons why.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, we're not going to buy one if it doesn't make sense. But like, we're going to go look.
Yeah.
And like, so like, I have a plan, but I'm always doing my version of going to look at a lake house. She's like, I'm looking at a new boat. Like, our boat's small. It's 16 feet. I've got 3 kids that it will not fit all of us next year. Yeah. We're good right now. But she's like, do we really need a bigger boat? I'm like, yeah, we definitely need a bigger boat. I don't know how soon I'll buy one. So that's what I become the accountant when it comes time for the purchase. I'm like,
oh man, I'm different. I'm different on that front. If I get an idea, that thing somehow makes its way into our possession.
Somehow the capital shows up.
If there's an idea that comes into mind that for some reason, we want to like build something random on the house or do something, it's crazy how fast that thing might come up.
We're sitting in it.
Yeah.
We're sitting in it.
It's
one
wild.
day, one episode, we're going to have to do a tour of your compound and where we're at.
I should do that for La Matera too. That'd be great. It's good content.
So in kind of like concluding, what do you think is the most important takeaway that you want to leave our audience with as it relates to thinking about the speed at which you accomplish things while trying to be a dad and an entrepreneur?
I mean, my biggest thing is just there are no right answers. I mean, there are no right answers. There is one dad out there that is running quicker than you are. And there are some dads out there that are running nice and slow. You just have to want it, and you have to really just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if you don't enjoy it, pull back.
Yeah.
And so I think where we're at right now, like we're cruising at a nice like growth for La Matera, growth for the family, obviously with a 4 and a 1-year-old, and we're comfortable.
Yeah.
We're comfortable right now, and we're good with that. And then whenever it's time to throw gas, like I look at my calendar and I'm like, I could have some more things on that calendar.
I can gas it.
Yeah, I can gas
I can start Dadrepreneurs Podcast finally.
And so when it's time to throw gas, go back to it and act. Like go do it. Just like do whatever comes up, and it may not work out. Like this is what this role is. It may not work out, whatever the project or whatever the business or whatever the thing is, but act quickly. If there's a little inkling in there that makes you think you need to do something, do it.
I love that, man. Some of the final thoughts that come to mind for me, one, going back to that question, why am I doing this? The second question, I've been contemplating this myself, how much is enough? And the third thing I think about, this is a reminder to myself that's so helpful. In the Bible, there's this point in which Jesus talks about like, whose voice are you listening to? Whose voice are we listening to? Because I know when I get really revved up about like trying to grow really fast, I realize that I actually am seeing what appears to be the speed that everyone else is going, what appears to be the speed that everyone's going. And I get really jacked up about that. I'm like, let's go. And then I start doing it and like, it just doesn't fit into my life. And I'm like, whose voice am I listening to?
Totally.
Like,
I mean, I appreciate it.
It's so important for us to ask ourselves, whose voice are we listening to? What are we trying to build? How much is enough? And yeah, there's no perfect way to do it. Figure out your way to prioritize and answer those questions, and then just keep going, man. But man, I think this is a good one.
This was great.
I'm excited for episode 4 coming soon.
I appreciate it. Appreciate y'all being here.